All right, let's get the energy up.
Woo!
Sound like we're having fun all of a sudden.
Alrighty.
Well, let me drink this fireball. Woo!
Let me drink this booze.
Oh, this flaming hot coffee. Ow.
Woo!
Damn, that's hot. I just burned my tongue.
Good job.
All right, welcome to Plopcast number 12. We are so excited.
Woo! Number 12.
Let's get the energy going.
That was really exciting.
I'm excited.
Oh, what was the intro I did last time that was really good? I was supposed to repeat that.
I don't remember. It's the Hot Comics
Oh,
Plopcast,
right.
too.
Welcome to the Hot Comics Plopcast number 12.
Number 12.
With your host, Comic Book Girl 19.
That's me.
Woo!
Yeah, I need all the claps.
Do it.
And
We are
Captain
live
Kirk.
today in front of a full studio audience. First time ever.
Oh, well, Tyson's just going for it today.
We just told them all to be really quiet while we do this. That's all.
No, I don't know. That just sounded like fun.
Okay.
Anyway. All right, go ahead. What are we going to talk about today
All
on
right.
today's show?
Today, we're going to keep it real loose. We're going to do some free-form stuff. We got a bunch of questions on Facebook that I'm excited about getting into. Got a lot of good questions today, folks. Good job, guys, out there.
Yeah, because the questions last time, not so good.
Not
but
so
today, really good
Amazing.
questions.
Yeah.
You guys stepped it up.
Yeah.
Now we have to.
So we're just going to kind of just go around and talk about a lot of different things today. A lot of comic-related things, movie-related things, all sorts of stuff. Whatever tickles our fancy.
Mainly just an hour and a half about Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
It could
That's all
be.
we're gonna
It
do.
could be.
It could be.
Yeah, you never know.
Don't threaten me with a good time. So let's start this whole thing off. Let's start with my favorite subject, X-Men. Michael Thistle asks, how do you feel about the Kitty Pryde and Wolverine switch for Days of Future Past?
What's that about? What do you mean?
Do you want to specify exactly what he's talking
Yeah,
about? What is the switch?
Well, in the comic, it's told through the lens of Kitty Pryde. Kitty Pryde goes to the future and sees the future, and then she comes back to the past, and it's kind of like she's the main...
But in this Days of Future Past, directed by Bryan Singer,
Yeah,
it's going to be Wolverine traveling back to the past.
not Kitty Pryde.
They
Not
changed
Kitty
it?
Pryde.
Yes.
Which is a shame because, one, you already have Ellen Page playing Kitty Pryde.
Right.
So it's not like you don't have
Oh, is she reprising her
Yeah,
role?
she's coming back for
Okay.
it. So it's not like they don't have an actress who couldn't
Yeah,
carry...
that's a quality actress to do the
Yeah.
part.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not like she couldn't carry that, hey, this is your mission, now you go back and you handle shit.
Yeah.
And besides, maybe Wolverine will actually listen to you.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're doing the switch for the movie, is anyone really surprised?
I mean, I'm not, because every
I'm
single...
angry about it. I
Every
don't like
single
that
X-Men
idea.
movie besides First Class has been about Wolverine and
Yeah.
through Wolverine's perceptions and through his lens, which is annoying because, like, make an X-Men... The X-Men is not Wolverine. He's a part of the X-Men.
Wait, I think we need to clarify this. Every movie is not about Wolverine, but they keep making every movie about Wolverine.
not? I don't get it.
I
What?
know.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're talking first X-Men. Wolverine joins the X-Men.
Joins the X-Men.
That's what the story's about.
X-Men
Wolverine
2.
joins X-Men.
Wolverine explores his past.
X-Men 3.
Wolverine kills evil Dark Phoenix, Jean Grey.
In a really bad way, by the way. Really sorry
Yeah.
about
It
that
was
movie.
lame.
So we still really haven't had a movie that's just
Yeah.
about the X-Men, except for First Class.
Except for
So,
First
I mean,
Class. Yeah.
And we had X-Men Origins.
Yeah.
Wolverine.
Which was Wolverine.
Yeah,
And
there's
then we
two
had the
Wolverine
Wolverine standalone.
Which is also getting
So
a sequel,
Wolverine.
according to you.
Yeah, heard it's getting a sequel. And then First Class. First Class is still my favorite X-Men film.
Yeah. I mean,
Me too.
it hit closer than any of the other ones because it was about a team of people and it's about being persecuted and trying to get your civil rights going,
Well, see, I think they accomplished in First Class originally what Singer was trying to do in the first X-Men film. Mm-hmm. Like trying to convey that story of equality and fear in the Cold War.
Yeah.
And, the realization that people are different than you.
We should say,
know?
not that we don't think that the first X-Men movie was significant and, accomplished a lot in terms
And you
of
know what? X-Men,
contributions towards making comic book movies,
well, it's
No,
like
totally.
Wolverine is a cash cow. We all know it. And it's good to start with him because everyone's familiar with him. I get why you would start, the whole thing off with kind of his story, but
We just wish we could see an X-Men movie.
I would like to see a fucking real Cyclops for one, because James Marsden is not the one. Okay, and it's not
No,
necessarily
he's
him.
not.
It's not him necessarily, but I mean, that's not Cyclops, and that's another thing that they don't understand. Cyclops balances Wolverine. It's not like about Wolverine stealing Cyclops' girl. That's not the story. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. They just still haven't figured that whole aspect out, which I think is blatantly obvious. I mean, if you read the comics, you understand what's going on. I mean, he's the straight shooter, and then Wolverine's the loose cannon. They balance each other out. Like, why
Right.
can't they get that?
So to answer his question, basically you're saying that, no, I think that's a bad decision, and they're doing the same thing that has been a mistake the whole time as far as Fox goes.
And I can't wait for the next movie, Wolverine and the Wolverines.
Yeah.
That's just going to be an awesome flick.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
just dump all the
wait.
rest of the X-Men
I'm
and
surprised that
It's just Wolverine
Clone
gets
Wolverine.
cloned over and over again. It's a time traveling
Yeah.
across the ages, different universes. All the different Wolverines get together. $250 million budget. Do it.
I'm surprised that they haven't done a Wolverine X-23 Dakin fucking.
Sure,
you know.
it's gonna happen.
Well, it's like the same thing as Boba Fett, you know, where it's like Boba Fett's cool because you don't see him, because he has mystery, because he's like coming in, killing people, going away. You don't know what he's up to.
Yeah,
He's
Wolverine's
mysterious.
supposed to be a mysterious character. Yeah,
he has an air of mystery. Whereas like they
they
shined
went
the
right,
fucking
right away to let's discover his past
I
origins.
know they shined all the lights on Wolverine. I mean, he doesn't have a secret in his closet at all anymore. I mean, it's kind of making him a little boring, but you know, it's like
Anyway,
get over Jean
all right, what's the
Grey.
next question? We need to move on.
Okay. Let's see here. Edwin Febo asks about Netflix and Marvel. What do we think about the Netflix
don't
Marvel
even ask
thing?
me. Yes, I'm so about this. So if you guys
Kirk is
didn't
all
hear,
in.
I am all in. In case you didn't hear, this week it was announced that Netflix is not doing 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 series based on Marvel characters.
Yeah.
All original series.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's what? Daredevil.
Daredevil,
which
because
is
they got the
awesome.
rights back.
Jessica Jones.
Animated series?
No, at live action.
Live action?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Luke Cage.
Yeah, Iron Fist and Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which all of those characters, as you were saying, Kirk, they're all street characters.
They're all street level characters.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Wait,
and they all
4
interact
separate
with each
shows
other.
or one show?
I think they're doing 4 separate shows, and it's all going to lead into a crossover.
Yeah, but they're going to cross over because all those characters cross over with one another anyways.
Huh.
You know, because
Wow.
like doesn't Jessica Jones and Luke Cage have a baby and stuff?
Yeah, in the
eventually?
comics they're married, and
yeah,
they got the
like-
kid, and
And then and everyone knows about Luke Cage and Iron Fist team ups and things like that. Like that's been going on for a long time.
come on, Heroes for Hire.
You know, I
Which
mean,
is one of the best comics, and they kind of need to bring that back.
so I
but
mean,
that's okay.
I'm interested to see where they go with it. I mean,
I'm kind of glad that it's on Netflix as opposed to NBC or CBS or ABC, where
yeah, I'd like
well,
to see.
they're going to be able to get away with a lot more. I mean,
Yeah.
like Arrested Development, for whatever reason, when you're not bleeping the curse words, it's actually a little bit funnier to me. I don't know why, but they could get away with that on Netflix. So
Yeah. I really want Netflix to do well. I love what Netflix is doing. And keep doing it, and I really like. I get so frustrated with people and Netflix because they're like, it doesn't have all the fucking brand new fucking films on there, and it's like, do you know how much content is on fucking Netflix, and the only thing you ever want to watch is stuff that's just came out, like
the stuff that's advertised to
like,
you,
you're an
bombarded with you
asshole.
all the time that everyone
Right.
knows about.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, why don't you just be a little, like, why don't you explore? Like, that's what Netflix is so great, because you can explore, you can find weird stuff, like My Tutor on there, and, like, laugh about it for, like, a whole week.
That's a horrible movie.
It's so bad, but My Tutor, check
was,
it out.
was it so bad it's good?
No, it was so
No,
bad.
it was
It's
just
not
so
worth
bad,
watching.
it's
I don't know why you're
bad.
bringing that up.
It's because it's so ridiculous, you know, but there's so many weird things on Netflix to explore.
I mean, like Netflix, we found some really cool documentaries.
oh my
and,
god.
Yeah,
they-
the majority of the things I watch are documentaries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially like Netflix gives a home for people that have like pet projects.
yeah.
And
yeah.
if someone is really passionate about like a certain subject or something
Yeah.
like that is so niche, and you wouldn't necessarily go, yeah, there's a market for that.
Well-
but there's a home for it on Netflix.
You know what I love about Netflix too is like, you know, Netflix single-handedly put Blockbuster and all those assholes out of business, which, you know, that business model was a pain in the ass anyways. It's like people are like, oh, I'm gonna miss Blockbuster. Like the last Blockbuster is gonna be shut down by the end of this year, by the way. They're officially
they're
gonna be
talking-
done.
Yeah, they're closing the last 300 stores.
And
Yeah, I heard something like the
fine.
franchisees are going to try to keep it going, but
No,
it's not.
I'm
gonna
good with it.
happen.
I'm fine with it. Get out of here, because nobody. I don't know, man. It's just like late fees suck, and I always get late fees. I always get late fees.
By the way, we watched an awesome documentary called Surviving Progress on Netflix. I just wanted to share that. We need to talk about that at some point.
Did I watch that too?
Surviving Progress,
Was I
yes.
there? What? I don't even remember it. That's how much stuff I watch and read. I'm like weird.
Yeah, you need to slow down a little bit. You're burning yourself out.
I know. I just like burned through Children of Dune the other day. It was like,
Oh, that's right. I forgot you were telling me you watched that. How was it?
yeah.
Let's get into Dune.
Well, okay.
Huh.
We have a question, actually, from the viewership. Matthew DeBlock asks, Dune versus Lord of the Rings series, which one's better and why? And, you know, for me...
Oof.
See, the thing is, I haven't read the Lord of the Rings series. I haven't. because I didn't really get into fantasy until a boyfriend of mine in college got me into Game of Thrones. You know, so like I never did because I always thought it was lame. I was like more into horror and stuff.
Right.
So I'm kind of behind on my fantasy stuff. I've tried to catch up with some things, but
You used to think fantasy was lame?
I did. I just like
You?
elves and stuff. I was like, what? Like I don't care about elves. Like, you know.
What else did you used to
Probably
be into?
don't even like Led Zeppelin
Well,
then. Whatever.
no, I do. I've always loved Led Zeppelin.
Okay.
Don't even try to take that from me. I was raised right. But yeah, I never really got into the Lord of the Rings stuff. I never did. And I know that I need to read them, and I'm going to at some point. But what I think, though, is even if I do read the Lord of the Rings series, I know that Dune is going to be, like, the one I come back to. Like, Dune is it for me, like, personally.
You
It's
know
it.
what? Here's where I am on that. Lord of the Rings for sure, if we're just talking the books. Mm-hmm. I did read all the books.
Yeah.
I mean, I even did, like, the Sumerian, which was a 4-book series. It was a prequel.
4-book book.
It was a 4-book book. And that was the prequel to The Hobbit, and then going into the trilogy. Mm-hmm. But with what's going on in the films now, and I'm going to be that guy, the fact that they're taking stuff from the Sumerian and putting it into The Hobbit so they can turn The Hobbit, which was one book.
Yeah.
And even at that, it was an easy read. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was mostly for, like, young adult and teens and kids. And the fact they're trying to milk that book and turn it into 3 movies.
I know.
Yeah, I don't like
And you're mining stuff from the other books,
Yeah.
which will probably not get to see movie treatment to
Right.
make that happen. I'm like, ugh.
I know. They need to only do 2
Are we
movies.
going to watch the Legend of Schmog? Are we going to go see that? in
Yeah,
December?
well, I didn't really want
Desolation
to.
of Smog,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was.
Yeah, whatever it's called.
Whatever it's the thing.
Or something about
Yeah.
smog. Yeah, I was like, after watching the one last year, I was like, I don't want to see another one because it just hurts my ass too much to sit down for that long. But but I think that
We
I
sound
saw
a
the
little negative
trailer.
about them, and the movies they're okay. They're pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the trailer though, and then I heard Benedict
A little long.
Cumberbatch's voice, and then I was like, I have to go see it.
You got excited about
I
the
did.
voice of Schmog?
Oh, Benedict Cumberbatch, you're
Oh,
just
the Cumberbitches.
man.
You're there for everything.
And I know that he thinks that's so awful, and I understand why, but he just is doing things to the
He's still
ladies
on.
right now.
Like, right now, if you're a woman right now, picture Cumberbatch taking an angry shower.
Well, like in the Star Trek thing.
right now, just he's taking an angry shower right now for you.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, see, the women love
Anyway, I want to see the movie because that whole last one we watched last December, I wanted to see this Schmog dragon at the
Yeah,
end, and I waited
yeah.
the whole time.
And then you didn't get to see
it.
anything.
And then his eyes open, credits.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
And now he
Okay,
sounds really cool.
look.
Yeah.
It's a shallow reason to go see a movie, but I think we have to see it.
this is the reason why Dune prevails over Lord of the Rings.
What-
David Lynch.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, that too.
That's me.
But no, it's not just you. I love the David Lynch version, even though it's not like the book and everyone complains about it. I still really like it, and I like it for what it is. It's very different, but I still like it.
Totally.
But the deal is, Lord of the Rings. I feel like there's like more entertainment value in it. Not to say that it isn't deeper, because it is. I know that there's a lot of deeper like meanings that you can take from it.
Totally.
But Dune is full of fucking ancient wisdom. It's full of philosophical truths that will withstand the test of time for like thousands of years. Like
That even ring true today in
that-
modern
that
society.
are relevant, completely relevant to today. Like, it is insane. Like, Children of Dune blew my mind. It blew my mind. Why do I look fat or something? Why do you keep adjusting my shirt? Like, what? You're making me feel bad. He keeps adjusting my shirt. It's like over my fat stomach, I guess.
Pick up where you were.
Okay. Children of Dune blew my mind. There's just like I dog-eared so many pages. Like, I need to like go back and highlight all this stuff. Like it's like taking a course in something. Like, it makes me feel like I'm vibrating on a higher level when I read Dune. You know, it makes me feel like I know what's up. You know, like I figured it out.
Well, yeah, but on the downside, for some people, Dune might be so deep that they just totally don't get it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, if you're into digging and you want to, like, kind of be inspired to learn about crazy shit, like philosophical stuff and theosophical things, then Dune's great. But if you just want, like, an easy read and you want to be entertained and you don't want to,
Dune is not it for you.
Yeah, like,
Trust
so, I
me.
mean, it's just for different
so
types
then
of
the
readers.
answer is read Lord of the Rings, then graduate to Dune when you're
No, it's
50 years old.
Absolutely,
Well,
it's a
I
good
mean,
way to put it.
the thing that I love about Dune is that the first novel is, they say, and I don't know if this is a fact, but they say that it is the #1 best-selling sci-fi book of all time.
Good.
And yet, You go to Dragon Con, you don't see a lot of Dune like costumes. Like a lot of the Dune catchphrases haven't really made it into the popular consciousness. It hasn't been successfully made into a movie or show, really. I mean, like, it not to the extent that it could be. Even though the series, okay, again, and everyone's like, oh, do you know there was a fucking Dune series that came out on Sci-Fi Channel? Yes, I know that, and it sucked. I'm sorry, it just wasn't, like, it was just really cheap. You cannot do Dune on a budget. You cannot do Dune on a budget.
The thing I'm blown away by with Dune, because I've been watching you reading it, you're reading the encyclopedia for Dune, which is a fake encyclopedia of all the stuff that's in the Dune universe.
Yeah, okay, so get this.
It's completely just supplemental.
I know.
But it's so crazily...
Well, okay, let me explain the Dune encyclopedia. It's over there on the couch. It's huge. It's like this thick. It's
Holy crap.
Yeah. Okay, so the Dune encyclopedia, what it is an encyclopedia of all these different things within the Dune universe. It has chemical compounds of spice melange. It talks about like guild navigation. It talks about the Chome Company. It talks about the great houses, the ancestry, like all the different emperors. It shows all the different... It talks about the Dune Tarot, like, and the meanings of all the different cards.
Are you kidding? Hold on.
No,
He's handing this thing over to me right now.
I am not kidding.
He has his own tarot cards in this universe?
He has his own, because they
what
mentioned...
was that page you were reading the other day?
Which one?
That page you were reading last night.
Oh, the one in the beginning? Okay, so Frank Herbert has a thing in the beginning where he's talking about it, and he's like, this encyclopedia answers a lot of questions that you may have that are never answered in the books, by the way. This encyclopedia has information that are not in the books, so to understand the books more fully, you can read the encyclopedia. Also, the encyclopedia entries aren't written as if they're from somebody who's talking about a book series that's about Dune. It's written from the perspective that it is a real encyclopedia from the Dune universe that references fake, non-existent books that go into the articles. Like, they're like, oh, you can, I mean,
my jaw is open right now. This is amazing. Look at this.
Let me read this.
Okay.
One of the questions that this book can tell you is, does Cheops have something in common with the three-body problem? If you were wondering that, that's in here. No, I don't even know what the fuck Cheops is. Like, I was like, what? And then I looked at it, and it's like this pyramid chess. And then I had to look up three-body problem on Wikipedia, which is a fucking weird, like, relativistic physics thing about, like, about having, like, some equation with three different heavenly bodies included in it or something. I couldn't quite get it because I'm not a physicist. But
well, like I said, there's a lot of really deep stuff in Dune, obviously.
Crazy! And, I'm one of those people that likes getting involved in it.
Talk about that passage you posted on Twitter the other day that was about governments.
Oh my God!
That was really interesting.
Oh gosh! Well, pass me the book over there. It's right there. Oh, I'll read it aloud.
What was this? It even has a bibliography.
Yeah, it has a bibliography of fake books.
Of fake books.
Fake books. They're not. And you reading this, and you're like, I want to learn more about this Bene Gesserit book. But then you realize it's not a real book, and then you're like, damn it, it's not a real book. Like, I need to read about this.
This is such a bummer. Look at all this stuff that doesn't exist that I'll never read.
I know, it's
Holy
crazy.
Crap.
It's crazy. It's like, it's out of control. Okay, so something I was reading in Children of Dune that, like, destroyed my brain. So at the beginning of each chapter, there is a little passage from some sort of fake book within the Dune universe that kind of has to, like, the theme of that also has to do with the theme of the chapter. So it says, in this one chapter, governments, if they endure, always tend increasingly towards aristocratic forms. No government in history has been known to evade this pattern, and as the aristocracy develops, government tends more and more to act exclusively in the interests of the ruling class. Whether that class be hereditary royalty, oligarchs of financial empires, or entrenched bureaucracy. And that's from the Politics as Repeat Phenomenon, the Bene Gesserit Training Manual. The Bene Gesserits knew that governments always fucking get terrible and turn into crap after a while.
And that's why you really wish that book actually existed from the passage that you read it from.
I know, it's like, there's so much wisdom, man. It's just crazy.
That's undeniably true.
Frank Herbert.
And that's likely what we're having right now going on.
I know it is. It's very relevant to today because it's all about cycles. Like, Frank Herbert is all about cycles of, like, mankind and cycles of society. And it's like, it's insane. Like, it's like, Leto ends up chooses to get rid of his humanity in favor of becoming a god to take the next step. But Paul couldn't shed his humanity. He wouldn't do it because it's so, what a nightmare to be a god, a 4,000-year-old god, but he's had the balls to do it. And it's that's the next step. I don't know. It's really weird.
And you thought it was all just about the spice flowing.
Yeah, it's not, man. It gets weirder and weirder. And everyone says stop after Children of Dune, but I really want to read God Emperor of Dune, even though I know it's going to be super weird and I may or may not like it, but I still feel
you might as well just go there.
Well,
if the weirdness is there, you might as well.
If anyone's going to appreciate it, it'll probably be me. I don't know.
Anyway, all right, we're spending too much time on Dune. Let's, next question.
Okay. What's on our show?
Hey, find another question about Dune.
I know. I know. I'm sure all this will get cut.
You might as well do an entire Dune podcast.
Oh, God.
I need to do an entire Dune
amazing.
Fucking everything.
All right, next question.
Well, okay. So somebody asked what we thought of Thor 2. Let's go to Thor.
Okay, so we saw Thor 2 over the weekend.
Thor 2.
All right.
Kirk somehow missed it.
I missed it. I'm probably going to go see it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I've been sick all week.
Yeah,
sniffling.
boo.
I'm going to have to edit all those sniffles out.
I actually have my napkins. I have whiskey and napkins ready to go.
That's good.
For my sniffles.
Planning ahead.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Okay, so the thing that
we got to do a raw vlog after this, which will probably be up. So this will be airing after our raw vlog, which people already know about.
Yeah, well, we'll see. But Thor 2, the thing that I think is really interesting about Thor 2 is not necessarily the story itself, but just watching where Marvel is going with all of this. They're really putting together a giant universe.
What did you think of Thor 2? Did you like it or not?
I did. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really entertaining. I mean, it's popcorn fun. It's the story is kind of weak sauce in a lot of ways, but there's a lot of fun character interactions. So I feel like I'll give it I have to have one or the other. You have to have a really, really solid plot or really, really good character interactions and character growths. And, if you have one of those, I'm usually okay. And so it had really good character interactions, but the plot was kind of thin.
Okay.
But it's even better when you get both at the same time. That's when my head explodes.
And the first film was really good at establishing those relationships with the characters.
Yeah.
I mean, let's put it that. I mean, if that's one of the things that the first film really did do right, it was create those characters.
Yeah.
Especially, I feel like the Thor films are paving the way so that we can get a Guardians of the Galaxy. Mm-hmm. I don't think a lot of people were expecting Thor to be in the Marvel Universe as prominent as he has been.
Yeah.
So I like that they're getting this right, and that's why it's look, you're actually going to be interested in this character. This is actually going to be a lot of fun. You are going to get the sequel, which I am going to go see it tomorrow, but I'm already hearing great things about it.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that Thor is working.
Yeah.
On the big screen.
Well, they're
it's working. I would say that. Yeah, it's working. It's not great, but it's good and it's entertaining and you can have a lot of fun watching it. But it doesn't make you really feel something where you're like, oh, that was a great movie or anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, this movie is definitely a movie that I would recommend for teenagers and kids. They're gonna this movie is going to get a lot of kids into comic books.
Good.
That's what I feel.
Want.
Yeah, because it's got the fun of a comic book. It has, and it's I love what Marvel's doing where I feel like the Marvel movies kind of emulate Silver Age Marvel comics with how the simplicity of their stories are kind of very Silver Age in a lot of ways. But not in the fun, druggy Silver Age, kind of in the more, in the little more tame, E for Everyone Silver Age stuff. Because Silver Age does get weird. But they're using a lot of the same stuff, tactics that Stan Lee used in that time to get people excited about things, about doing crossovers, expanding the universe, making things bigger. And I think that that's the right way to do it. I think that they're doing a really good job with what they're doing. I'm just in awe of the fact that they're doing it and it's working. They're making a giant weird universe and it's working. And
I would be very excited to see, in 5 years' time or 10 years' time, this stuff is still going and we've expanded into really unexpected niches that we never thought we'd see.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Characters we never thought they'd put in a movie.
Yeah. Well, it's the thing about, Thor 2 is in the end, they do start working in the cosmic aspect.
Yes.
Getting you ready for Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm getting more and more excited about Guardians of the Galaxy. Thor 2 is making me excited about Guardians of the Galaxy.
See, Thor's doing its job.
Yeah.
That's why it's amazing.
Yeah.
And I am one of those weird guys that I loved Guardians of the Galaxy before. Mm-hmm. So I freaked out when Bendis was doing the comic again. And I freaked out even more when I realized that they were actually going to make a Guardians of the Galaxy film.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
But the closer we're getting to it, and the fact that it's being hinted at in this film, and it is the next big Marvel flick, it's going to work. I'm so excited that this is going to work.
And, I'm just going to kind of lose my shit if Adam Warlock is on the big screen at some point.
Oh, my God.
And it's like, I feel like that's where it's going because he's got one of the Infinity Gems and, he's got the Soul Gem. So it's like, you got to bring in Adam Warlock.
We actually got to see Thanos at the end of a credit.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that we even got to see Thanos on the big screen was a freak out.
But I think it's interesting that they're not even going straight to Thanos in the Thor or the Avengers 2 movie. So they're saving him for something even fucking bigger.
Yeah.
Which is like, wow. Like,
yeah, that's a pretty big setup for something.
That's a big fucking... Like, I've never seen anyone setting up stories like this before. This has never been done before.
They planted a seed literally 3 years ahead of time.
Yeah.
4 years ahead of time.
And then you got DC over there, being like, hey, chick who plays Sif, why don't you come be Wonder Woman? It's like, get your own fucking actresses, DC. Like, quit scoping on fucking Marvel actresses.
If you didn't hear this really quickly, little...
Yeah, please clarify.
Little gossip. Right into that. The woman who... Shoot, I forgot her name. But she's awesome. In Thor, she plays Sif.
Yeah.
And she actually plays a great Sif. And she's feminine, and she's tough, and she's totally...
She pulls it off.
She pulls it off amazingly.
I wish they could give her a little bit more stuff to do, but she does a good job with what she has.
She revealed that she took a meeting with DC about Wonder Woman. Mm-hmm. And I think it's not going to happen. I don't think it's going through. And I forgot the details of what came out of that interview.
Yeah.
But basically, she was like, if you do it right and you treat the character well, yeah, absolutely, you could do it. But the interview didn't end with her going, and I took the part.
Right.
So obviously there was something that came out of that conversation with DC where she was like, no, you're not getting this.
I just think that shitty that DC goes to a Marvel character actress and tries to woo her away by giving her a bigger part in their universe.
Right.
But she's already established as a superhero person, so they can bank on her accountability in their movie. It's just like... Get your own fucking actresses, dude.
Or take a risk.
Like,
but they don't know how to.
They just look at Marvel and then they're like, let's try to do that except the opposite of what they're doing.
Okay, don't spend too much time on this.
Okay.
All right.
Well, this is the thing about Marvel, okay, in the end. Marvel does have great character interactions, and that's what people are there for. That's why I read the comics. That's why I watch the movies. Like, the characters are fun. Like, they have really fun characters, and they do a lot of fun things with them. DC, on the other hand, tends to be more story-heavy, less character-driven.
Yes.
And, but their stories, like, it's like with Marvel, it's like their stories try to be a little more fantastical. They're taking more risks. They're doing more weird cosmic stuff. And then DC is like, no, we got to make it really real. We got to do the opposite of what Marvel's doing. And it's just like, but it's a comic. Like,
have fun.
With it.
One thing, I like that Marvel does the stuff that's in the comics. Like, they're pulling the stuff out of the comics and putting them in real life. Fox isn't doing that with the X-Men.
No.
They try to make it real life, too.
Ugh.
My
poor X-Men.
We want to see these characters in the way they look like in the comics. We want to see them brought to life.
Like, let them have fun with their powers. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah.
That's all you gotta do. And Thor has fun with his powers, and it's fun to watch. Like, and I enjoy it. Like, it's fantastic.
All right, what's the next question?
All right. Drew Staub. I said it wrong. How long until me as a soldier can actually have a mech warrior suit? Don't get me wrong, I fucking love my tank, but a suit would be BAMF status. And you know what? Tyson, T-Bone, you were just reading an article about them trying to make a weird kind of Iron Man-ish mech suit for for soldiers.
Yeah, now you're putting them on the spot. I didn't actually read the article.
Oh, well, I skimmed it too. I thought you had read it. I was just looking through it and I was like, oh, wow. Like,
I don't have any information for you on that, but it looks cool.
It looks like they're kind of trying to work on it, Drew. But the thing is, though, it's like, I feel like you guys are going to get replaced by drones before they'll give you sweet mech suits, which is unfortunate.
Well, I'm sure there's a cost-profit analysis of giving out a $100,000 suit to every soldier.
Yeah, it's all going to drones, man.
Well, see, hold on. What kind of mech suit are we talking about? Are we talking like...
Are we talking
Macross mech suit?
I don't think it was a mech suit. It looked more like it was like a kind of some kind of fiber material.
Yeah, I mean, am I talking like a glitter boy from Rifts when I was still doing like
you have to see
that
the
RPG role playing?
No, it's not like mech suit. It's like
it was an
pieces,
armored soldier
like
suit,
armor
more like
pieces.
a Halo suit.
Okay.
But they're supposed to give you they are supposed to give you some sort of added boost of strength or.
We're not really qualified to talk about this.
We're not.
We didn't read the article, but I don't know. Maybe. I hope that would be cool.
Well,
I
I'm
guess.
just thinking like, what kind of mech suit do I want? Like, I don't want one of those lame G.I. Joe mech suits. I don't want.
Nobody wants that.
I don't want that. I mean,
Nobody
like,
wants
I'm not
that.
sure if I necessarily want, like maybe I do want a mech suit that does transform from a defender to a jet like Macross.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that would be a really rad mech suit.
That would be really rad.
What was the guy's name?
What the guy?
What was the guy's name?
Oh, the guy's name. It was Drew.
Drew. Okay.
Yeah, Drew.
Well, Drew, we hope that you get your mech suit eventually.
Yeah.
Or one of the mech suits from later on in the series of Macross that was a motorcycle, and then I do a sick-ass wheelie, jump in the air, and then my motorcycle transforms into the mech suit around me in midair.
I don't know what you're talking about right now.
That's the mech suit I want. I want that mech suit.
That's the one.
That's the one.
Well,
What else did he have to say?
let me see. He had some other post questions. Also, Starship Troopers, the book was so epic. Why did the movies not follow the book at all? Why are books always so different from movies?
There's no way you could have gotten everything that the book talked about.
Have you read the book?
Yeah.
I haven't read it.
It's not the big gory throwdown versus insects thing that you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
The book talks about how you have to go into the military to become a citizen,
Mm-hmm.
and the citizen has more rights. And so when they were talking about like when Casper Van Dien's character goes, "I'm ready to become a citizen," that's how you go into the military to become a citizen.
Yeah.
You're not necessarily a citizen yet unless you've done some
Right,
sort of service
right.
for your country or your government. Also, the whole book talks about the right is might. Like there's no actual democracy going on.
Yeah, I was hearing an interesting argument about it the other day. I can't remember who was saying this. It's not me. I'm not taking credit for this, but it was Verhoeven was trying with Starship Troopers. This is the thing about books to movies. Directors have their own agendas with the material.
Totally.
Whereas the writer may have a completely different agenda with the material, but they take the same thing and a director can kind of twist it into his own message that he has. And from what I understand, Verhoeven is very much kind of against like fascism and like grew up in a very like fascist environment. And he was like kind of doing a subtle, not subtle, but he was doing a play on like sexy Nazis. You know what I'm saying? Like he was just like showing you that like these Starship Troopers people are like these like really sexed up Nazis that are really cool, and like showing you the mystique of what it has and maybe like why things went that way, but like that it's not okay. I don't know. It's a whole thing.
Visually, absolutely. That's.
Well, yeah. I mean, you look at
you turn
Neil Patrick Harris's character.
Doogie Howser looks like a Nazi.
That's
at the end.
an SS like uniform,
Yeah.
like straight up. Which they do have really fantastic uniforms.
That's pretty good. But now let me actually answer his question.
Okay.
Oh.
Let's all step back.
Just kidding. No, but he was
You better
asking
have a really good answer.
Why are books better than movies or different than movies? He said different than movies, right? Mm-hmm. He said, why are the books different than movies? And I think a lot of people don't realize this, that just watch movies. There's a certain structure that Hollywood movies almost have to stick to make a movie work for mainstream audiences. And you almost always get these structures in big budget blockbuster movies. There's a book called Save the Cat. Read this book and it would break it down for anyone pretty easily.
It's called what?
Save the Cat.
Okay.
And Save the Cat is a screenwriting book, but it lists like they'll have like this structure is called something and it gives it a name, and it'll give like 10 movies that you never thought about before, but they all fit this structure.
They do, yeah.
But books have all kinds of stuff going on. They detour and they take their time. There's no pace. And in a movie, you have the tempo and the pace that you have to keep the story going. Mm-hmm. All right? And you only have an hour and a half, and you got to do that. And books don't have these limitations.
Right. Well, it's like books can like go into so many more things that a movie can. I mean, like as far as like what people are thinking, like their motivations, like things that you can't do in a movie without doing a weird voiceover that doesn't always work, that people think are cheesy generally. Like in a book, it works great. In a movie, it's a whole different thing. And plus, like I was saying earlier too, it's like if a book is like 200 pages or under, you can make a movie out of it, generally speaking.
Yeah, they're two different mediums, and there are advantages to books and movies. When I hear people say, I've heard a person say this before, like, "Oh, I don't read books because if it's any good, it'll be made into a movie, and I'll just watch that, and that's more fun." It's like, well, I think this person in particular doesn't realize that. Okay, but you're missing a lot of information. You're missing a whole type of story that you're not going to get. And comic books are different too. You get a type of story in comics that don't work in other mediums.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be that guy that admits it right now. I saw Jurassic Park first. And then Jurassic Park made me want to go read the book.
Yeah.
I went, if the movie was this good,
right,
I want to read and the book blew my mind.
Oh, yeah.
And the book actually doesn't even follow, or the movie doesn't follow the book.
No, it's so much more family friendly than the book is.
No, yeah, exactly. The book is a dark version
John Hammond is evil.
Yeah, John Hammond's
evil. Like flat out evil.
And gets killed in the end of it, like eaten by dinosaurs in the end of it, little compies.
The theme of the book is completely about, looking at the downsides of technology. Like, we're getting to a point that we have genetic engineering technology.
Right.
And mankind has to wield that responsibly, but we're not.
Yeah.
And just like any science fiction, that's almost always part of the theme of the science fiction
Well, it's
story.
because scientists are willy-nilly.
The movie, and I think Spielberg did a good job of changing the Jurassic Park movie theme. He made it kind of like an awe-inspired, like, look at these dinosaurs. It's amazing. It's great. And it worked. It was because we had never seen dinosaurs before. And I think he had to do that in the movie because you're going to be inspired by seeing these things.
Part of the point of Jurassic Park is that it is a milestone, and that you've never seen, like, computer-generated effects like that. And it was awe-inspiring to see dinosaurs like that, like, for the first time. Because it's not like you're seeing dinosaurs for the first time. It's like you're seeing computer-generated, like, mature effects.
It's working
for the
on
first
two
time.
levels.
Yeah.
No, and it does, but that's the thing. It works so well because it is working on multiple levels.
Yeah. That was the launch of CGI technology becoming wildly known as well.
I mean, I flipped out when I was a little kid when I saw that. I was like, wait, a computer did this? How did a computer do this? I was like blown away. And I was like, if this is the beginning, then what's it going to be like later? And then somehow CGI got worse.
I'll say it before and I'll say it again. Walking out of that theater, getting in the car with my mom, half expecting a dinosaur to pop out behind a billboard on the way home was an active thing going on in my head.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I couldn't comprehend it.
It was amazing. Like, it was mind-blowing. Yes. Well, that's the thing, too, that I was thinking about. It's like, I was talking about a Dune as a television series, like, on the par with Game of Thrones. Like, that's what I kind of want to see, in my mind's eye. But then again, after reading Children of Dune and just seeing how fucking weird it gets, it's never gonna work, like, as a live-action thing, because you can't have children play characters who are millions of years old. That's just never gonna work. It's never gonna come off right. And but they could do it again, animated. Like, why aren't we doing more adult animated films? Whether it's hand-drawn animation or 3D, CGI, whatever animation, I don't care. I just enjoy animation either way.
I actually do like a lot of the CGI. I like animated stuff. Yeah. Like, anytime a Star Wars comes out with a commercial that's CGI, or like when DC was doing the DC Universe video game, and all their advertisements were animated.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I could have watched. Give me an hour and a half of that commercial. I would have been fine.
Yes. And I don't know why we're not doing that. Like, it's just like, so you really think that the populace hasn't gotten to a point where we understand that animated films aren't just for children, and that you think that we can't handle that? Like you were talking about with Sex Criminals.
Totally.
How, iTunes.
Which, by the way, we're going to talk about Sex Criminals later.
Yeah. Well,
let's
talk about it right now. Let's just go for it. So you were telling me that Sex Criminals, which is a new comic from Image, I believe.
It's Image. It's Matt Fraction.
Yeah, Matt Fraction. And there is sex in it, although it is not like pornographic in nature in any way, shape, or form. It's just has sex because sex is a part of life, and everyone experiences it at some point. Which is,
It is actually very realistic sex.
Yeah, it's very realistic.
This is what happens in real life.
And
there's full insertion?
Well, it's like, it's not, it's happening, but it's, it's not pornographic. It's not like showing things going in things. That's not the point of it. But it does have sex as a central theme in it.
So is there 69ing in it?
And hey, there's shrimping.
Shrimping? Oh, gosh.
But anyways, so iTunes put up the first one, right? They were selling the first copy of it, and then the second copy, they decided they pulled it.
That the content was too graphic.
And it's like,
what?
It's like, so you're telling me that Apple feels like a storytelling medium, a specific storytelling medium, has no, should not be talking about sex, whereas they're selling, like you said, 50 Shades of Grey
is on there.
Yeah, I'm sure they're selling copies of that ebook all over the fucking place, and that's okay. But you can't put it in a comic book format?
You know what this is?
I don't
this
get
means
it.
the old folks that run iTunes are still in the mindset of the baby boomers who think comic books should be for kids.
They're funny books. They're funny books.
Yeah.
For children.
Which they're not. I've been trying to tell people, like, I love trying to get people into comics. People look at me silly, like, I mean, like tonight we were supposed to, I had friends invited me out for drinks and stuff. I'm like, you understand, I have to go do a podcast. And like, well, what's the podcast about? Like, well, we're going to talk about comics. And my friends still, to this day, will still give me shit like, oh, Kirk and his little comic thing.
Yeah.
But I've slowly started getting friends into it. I'm like, you don't understand, man. Like, they write this stuff for us now.
Yeah.
They're writing it for
the
our
Thor
age
comic
group.
series that we're talking about now is way better than the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, fuck
Way
yeah,
better
dude.
and more mature, and it's about something.
The Jason Aaron God Bomb.
Yeah, we're getting ready to put that out soon.
I can't wait
It's
until you
probably
guys see
already
it,
out.
by the way.
It might be. Who knows?
It might
It's
be.
already out by the time this airs.
Sweet.
Yeah.
But I mean, that entire series, like, kids aren't, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, a high schooler or someone in junior high is going to pick that up and go, wow, Thor kicking ass. That was rad. But, like, the different levels of that series and that story, and especially like we were talking about in the video, like the non-chronological storytelling
Oh, yeah.
was made for people like us.
Yeah.
Like, that is interesting, and that is a fun way to, like, absorb a story.
That goes back to what I was saying. The movies are doing Silver Age things.
Totally.
Which appeal to everyone. They are for everyone, because back then they were writing for kind of everyone,
Yes.
and the lowest common denominator being, children and whatever. But the comic books now that are coming out are not written like that anymore. They're not as simplistic as people assume that they are. They're literature. I mean, like, they have very thought-provoking things to say. Not all of them, mind you, but it's out there. Like, it's most of the, like, comics coming out now are pretty fucking mature.
Right. I mean, before The Simpsons came out, they used to say, well, cartoons are just for kids, you can't have a cartoon has this kind of stuff in it. It's
Right.
offensive.
Right.
But that idea has been conquered.
Right.
But comic books still that idea has
Right.
not been conquered.
But-
It's still out there that people think it's for children.
Well, and it's still out there that people think, like, animated movies are still for children, too. Where it's like, I'd like to see an animated movie other than a Pixar movie.
It's just a different medium.
It's just a different medium. Like, a medium can apply to anything.
Yeah, so
Of course, if you guys want to make a sequel to the Iron Giant, I'd really like to see that, please.
And the Incredibles. I mean,
Why has there been an Incredibles sequel yet?
Okay, why the fuck is there a Cars 2,
And
then there's
planes.
like planes, and they're gonna come out with boats or trains or whatever fuck bullshit
Submarines.
next, It's like,
Helicopters.
God, but again, it's like they won't do
Hovercrafts.
they won't do Incredibles again because it didn't make as much money toy wise. You know what I'm saying? It's all merchandising crap, and it's like, get out of here, you fucks. Like, I don't know.
So next question.
Eric Facundo asks if we could have a veteran shout out. Well, veteran shout out. We love our veterans.
Veterans rule.
Yes, and our
Thank you so much
active
for
military
everything you
people.
do.
You guys are awesome.
A lot of my friends came back within the last couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's that when you actually get to know someone and like hear the stories and what they go through.
Well, you know
It's
what
not just like our veterans rule. Yeah, it's like seriously, go hug a fucking veteran today.
No,
like
this-
they seriously.
Something that's great about veterans
Is
that
that they
I've
read
been-
comics a lot.
Well, yeah. First of all, they do read comics a lot. We have a really huge military fan base that I'm like really
That's
excited about.
badass.
And but B, it's like, I've done a lot of research on like writers and all these like important people that have all these important thoughts, and a lot of them were military at some point. Like Frank Herbert was in the military.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
like
you get a lot of life experience
You get
doing that.
tons of life experience, and you come back with these life experiences, and they change you, and that and you write about them, and you change the world with these things. I mean, it's like so many artists and
Well
writers
said.
have been military people.
For almost about a year, I volunteered at a DAV. A DAV is Disabled American Veterans Hall. And it was like kind of like a fundraising organization. And also they had like a little bar there where only if you were a veteran, you could go there and drink. And I
Nice.
understand like it was definitely, they needed that. They needed
Yeah.
a place to go be safe and talk with their friends. And not even necessarily like talk about the good old days. You just need to be in the same room with people that have experienced what you've experienced.
Oh, yeah.
And for a year of my life, it was not easy, but it was also like one of those really best experiences I could have asked for.
Yeah.
Like just volunteering for them.
Yeah.
And that was, I mean it like, seriously, go hug a veteran.
No, I mean, like, yeah, so many, I mean, like, I talked to a lot of, veterans and active military people from my Kickstarter. Most of the people who got the Skype chats and things like that were military. And every single one of them was very insightful, very intelligent, very thoughtful. They were all, like, very respectful. They were all amazing people. Like, every single one that I talked to were really great. So, yeah, you guys are awesome. So, shout out to you. I got a bunch of "Will you marry me?" questions. Just saying. Just putting that out there.
Well, that was only a matter of time.
Let's see here. So people are asking, what did we think of Kitty's decision at the end of Battle of the Atom? There's a few people asking about it.
Can we talk about Battle of the Atom? Can we segue this into Battle of the Atom?
You
Yes.
guys need to.
Thank you. Okay, let's go.
Battle of the Atom.
What's Battle of the Atom?
Battle of the Atom, the big crossover in all the X-Men titles that happened with Jason Aaron and Michael Bendis and Brian Wood, and it was fucking awesome.
It was awesome.
Was it the best X-Men event of the year?
It's been, yes. And it's probably been one of the best X-Men events I've read in a few years.
I mean,
Should we do a full episode on X-Men Battle of the Atom and the X-Men Year in Review?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
that will be coming up.
Okay.
It's decided.
Way to tease, dude. Way to tease. That was good.
Yeah, Battle of the Atom. Somebody was asking, is it good? Is it bad? It's amazing. I liked it better than a lot of the X-Men. I mean, a lot of the X-Men things that have happened have set up these events, which has been really interesting. Because you
Absolutely.
couldn't have Battle of the Atom without Schism. You couldn't have Battle of the Atom without AVX, you know?
Correct.
But I do like Battle of the Atom more so than I liked Schism and more so than I liked Avengers vs. X-Men.
Yes.
It was more fun.
And here's one of the things I liked about this series was that it did advance what's going on with the X-Men. Mm-hmm. It did set up the next stage of events. Mm-hmm. And it did have a certain amount of a finality to it. Mm-hmm. But the end of the series ended the same way it began. And that is with, spoilers, but that ended with, I'm sorry, Cyclops, you're still fucking nuts.
Right.
This doesn't change anything between us. Mm-hmm. Yes, I know it sounds stupid. My name is Wolverine, and I'm a teacher. Make all the jokes you want.
Oh my god, yeah. It's like Cyclops brings up, he's like, you know how ridiculous it is that you're a teacher? Like, you know how fucking ridiculous that is? And he's like, I know it every fucking day, and I do it anyways, you know, because I fucking love these kids.
And I love the fact that this is how it ends. I like that it ended with not like the big like hug and like, oh, we're all going to work it out in the end. It's like, no, Psych, you're nuts.
Yeah.
You're crazy.
Yeah.
Like, that's Magneto standing next to you, dick.
Yeah. But,
You know?
but then again, it's like, is he? You know, you're still, like, they keep you, like, so on the fence about it.
And
Like,
that's amazing because, like, I also love the fact that Bendis is doing both titles right now. Mm-hmm. So when he does his X-Men title, then he also does Amazing X-Men.
yeah.
He is so good at writing both points of view.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes, 100%. And I love that they keep, the Bamfs keep coming up, these little green guys, these little green interdimensional goblin dudes that look very reminiscent of a Nightcrawler.
Absolutely.
They've been infesting the Wolverine or Jean Grey School for higher learning ever since the beginning. And they keep hinting at them. They keep saying, these guys, like, something's going on with these guys.
No one's actually tried to explore or discover what the secret is behind the Bamfs.
And, like,
and
even
to the point where, like, people have just kind of accepted them.
Yeah.
Like, well, they're just...
Yeah, they have so much stuff going on that they don't have time to worry about it.
Right.
You know, they're just like, we have so much other stuff going on that we're not even taking the time to deal with.
The only
this
time,
thing.
like, anyone ever notices them is, like, when they steal Wolverine's whiskey.
Yeah,
You know?
And Wolverine's pissed.
Yeah.
But I love in the end of Battle of the Atom, now times Bobby is talking to future Gandalf Bobby.
Yeah, he's
who
always
is the
going to be
beard.
Gandalf Bobby.
And he's like, you know, he says, like, now times Bobby says, I need to know that we still have some laughs along the way. Please tell me our best days aren't already behind us. And the old Bobby says, even when you think you've seen it all, there will still be moments that will amaze you. And keep your eyes on these old guys. Like, he's like, look at the
cool.
Bamfs, you know? And it's like, they're still hinting at these Bamfs. Like, I'm really excited to see what happens in the new Amazing X-Men title,
Written by Jason Aaron.
which is replacing the Wolverine and the X-Men title,
Which I'm going to miss, but it's going to be okay.
because we have Amazing X-Men.
Yes.
And the new big thing in that is the search for Nightcrawler, who's been dead. I guess he's been in paradise. Now
it could be a heaven dimension, who knows?
Yeah, it seems like a heaven dimension, but then Azazel is, like, going through the dimensions and trying to take souls, and the X-Men are getting involved, and the Bamfs have something to do with it, and there's a portal going on, and
The art's awesome, and it's Nightcrawler with his katana, or what is that,
his saber,
cutlass?
Yeah, cutlass. Yeah, his cutlass. It's him doing his adventure thing.
So we're not going to give away exactly what happens in the new issue yet, but I do want to let you know that it's issue number 1. It's Jason Aaron. It's Amazing X-Men. Ed McGuinness is doing the art, which is absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
You have some old favorites kind of returning to the X-Men fold, and I just like the fact that it's just that classic 1980s Nightcrawler that
Yeah.
I know and love that I grew up with.
The white, black, and red, and blue.
And it's right there on the front cover.
Yeah.
So there's no, question about it.
It's Nightcrawler. Doing Nightcrawler
Let's
things.
get Nightcrawler back.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with that.
And so how do you feel about Kitty deciding to leave Wolverine's Jean Grey School for X-Men and go join up with Cyclops because she's pissed that nobody over there would listen to her, and she's taking the original X-Men from the 50s, 60s?
Right.
60s.
Whatever time period they're talking about now.
She's taking the original X-Men with her to Cyclops' Xavier School for higher learning.
I know, it
whatever.
gets weird, guys.
I know. It's a lot of schools going on right now. But I really like it. I don't know. It's like...
Let's put it this way. I'm not happy with it, but I'm excited to see what the stories are going to be.
Yeah. I understand where she's coming from.
Well, because no one listened to her.
Yeah.
I'd be pissed off.
And she was like, don't trust these assholes from the future.
Yeah.
She's like, let them make their own decisions. Like, what is this? And...
But you never know. Maybe is this a plan?
I don't know.
Did Wolvie and Kitty go, it'd be a really good idea?
Maybe if you went over... Yeah, she could be a double agent.
Could be doing the double agent thing.
She could be a double agent. Although she's so truthful, though. It's like it would hard to imagine her being a double agent because she's always so, hard on her sleeve,
right.
type of character. Which would be a masterstroke if she was a double agent, but, part of me thinks that she is for reals, like fuck this, I'm going over...
I'm pretty sure that's the way it is, too. My big disappointment about... I'm not... how do I say this? I'm upset that Kitty's going to the other team because it's going to affect the way how I read my X-Men comics right now. Mm-hmm. I love Jason Aaron's take on her.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of sad that now that the Wolverine school's losing her back to Scott and all those nutbags.
Yeah.
That I'm going to miss Jason Aaron writing Kitty Pryde.
Yeah.
Because I was having a lot of fun with that.
That's true. I can see that. But, it's shaking things up. It's interesting.
Oh, absolutely.
It's interesting. And they finally, in Amazing X-Men, referenced the whole Storm and Wolverine relationship going on. Because they brought it up in Wolverine and the X-Men a long time ago where they had date night and, he's the one who cut her hair off into a mohawk,
back into the mohawk
with his claws in the shower, whatever. That was the whole thing. And in the Amazing X-Men, he's like, you want to go work it out in the showers or something. It made some allusion to that they're still doing it.
Right.
Which I've been wondering about, so I'm glad that has been cleared up for me. That
okay.
They are indeed still having a relationship.
Sweet, I like that.
At least sexual in nature, at least. Maybe more than that, who knows?
Who knows? God, I hope she actually got her divorce finalized.
I know, right? And then but then now she has a weird daughter from the future that's like, who's your baby daddy again?
Oh, that's right.
Who's Chimera's dad? Is it Black Panther? Because she has a big Black Panther cat with her.
Thing going on, yeah.
But, I mean, maybe it's a Wolverine thing and she's got some weird animal thing. I don't know. Maybe she's half Wolverine. I don't know.
No way. That's a good way to look at it.
Maybe.
I like that.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Nobody knows. We'll find out, though, hopefully.
What other questions we got?
Let's see here. Will the move to Burbank completely kill DC or just gravely injure it? DC's been moved to Burbank for a long time.
But this is gonna be
there was a story
Kit
that they
Baker?
moved their headquarters out of New York to Burbank.
They already did
everything.
that.
They did that over the last few months or something.
Well, I went to the Burbank offices a year ago.
Well, I'm sure they already had Burbank offices, but they moved all of it officially.
I think they think there was only one part of DC that was out in Burbank. Mm-hmm. And now they're moving the entire operation out here.
Well, it looked like the entire operation was already kind of out here, but again, maybe not. I don't know. Well, it's
interesting.
It was. I
read some of it. They were saying that they're moving it so it can be closer to Warner Brothers in the movie department, so it's better communications or something.
Yeah, although it doesn't seem like they're really.
I think we should skip that question because we don't really know anything
I'm just saying. I already went there. It was weird. I don't know. I didn't know.
I'm saying it was already. Yes, what you went to was there.
Right.
But the headquarters was in New York.
Oh, well, yeah, they still had a weird New York office. This is a question for you, Kirk.
Ooh.
Corey Holcomb-Hucken asks, how does Kirk feel about the new Doctor Who trailer? Have you seen it?
Oh, I did freak out. I have freaked out a whole lot. New Doctor Who trailer definitely had some cool stuff in it where you knew that there was going to be a comparing of sonic screwdrivers between the two doctors.
Right.
I'm very interested to see what's going to happen with the interaction with Rose again. A lot of speculation did come from whether or not David Tennant's doctor is actually the Meta-Crisis doctor that Rose got to stay with. I'm going to say no right now. And the reason I'm going to say that is that we're not quite sure where in David Tennant's doctor's timeline does this story take place. But if you look really closely, guys, if you go back and watch that trailer again, Rose's eyes start to glow just a little bit. And I think that shows a hint of Bad Wolf is still in her. I know everyone else here is kind of looking at me weird right now, but
Bad Wolf.
But Whovians will know what I'm talking about.
Whovians.
They call us Whovians, but I don't like that. I want to be called.
Sounds like Whoville.
I want to be a hooligan.
I like
because I think hooligan better.
Hooligan, and it also has the English tie-in.
Yeah,
you know, like
it's a hooligan.
Yeah,
and we're mischievous, and we're kind of like the dog. I don't want to be called a Whovian, but anyways, the 50th trailer looks amazing, and I did pick up. Oh, I had a really cool moment at Kamikaze over last week. I was with some friends who were getting some food over at the food court. And it's really cool because I'm kind of like wearing my Tom Baker scarf. And I looked over and I saw some other people wearing like Doctor Who themed like nerd shirts.
Right.
I looked over at my friend Chris really quickly. I went, Chris, you know what I love about Comic Cons? He goes, what? I went, that you can talk to a complete stranger. Watch. And I looked over to the other people in the line. I'm like, hey, you guys got your 50th tickets for the big 50th premiere yet?
Yeah.
And she looked up and right away without even like dropping a hint was like, oh, absolutely. Where are you going to go see it?
Yes.
And it was just that great moment of like Doctor Who fans just instantly connecting. And next thing I know, I got her contact information and they do like big like fan like meetups like once a month.
That's awesome.
But it was a really cool moment like with Doctor Who fans.
Yeah. Well, I have another question for you. Another question from...
By the way, the 50th does look amazing.
He's really excited about it.
Yeah.
I wish I knew what was going on, but I don't. Chris Walker asks, why is it so fucking hard to understand what the fuck is going on in Infinity series? I feel like things are happening, but I don't know why I should care. And then he also goes on to talk about East of West. But
okay, let me talk about Infinity for a second.
Yeah.
If you've been listening to the podcast, the Plopcast, you know that I've had faith and I've been holding in and I've been holding down the series and I love everything else that Hickman has been doing right now. But when it comes to the fucking Infinity, I don't care. We're being robbed. This series sucks. The art is amazing and it's great that he's trying to do, like, okay, for instance, I was talking about the issue 4 moment when Thor did something really, really badass. And I'm like, and now they're going to take on Thanos' army. Apparently someone reminded me like, oh, you understand, that was a completely different group's army. That was the Builders' army.
Yeah.
And that's right then and there when I realized I honestly have no idea what the fuck's going on in this series. Because you need to be reading... out. Yeah, you need to be reading Avengers and New Avengers. Because apparently, like, the big key moments in this series are happening in those comics. Meanwhile, if you go back to Infinity, what Hickman is trying to do is this amazing, like... I don't even know what to call it, but the narrative... that's happening in each panel to express what's going on in each scene, it's fucking drivel.
Yeah.
It's drivel.
Yeah.
It's like bad space poetry.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't know what's going on in Infinity. It's not specifically explaining. I mean, I'm sorry, but you do need like that breakdown once in a while. You do need that character going, oh my god, we did find Thanos' son, and it turns out he's got these powers.
Yeah.
Like, you need someone to say that.
Well, that's what's so great about X-Men Battle of the Atom, which is like, okay, so they take all the different X titles, because there's a lot of different X titles, and they had one storyline going through all the different X titles.
Absolutely.
Versus in Infinity, where you have a specific Infinity title, and then you have all the other comics that have tie-ins to the Infinity thing. Right. And it's just too much reading. Whereas, like, Battle of the Atom, it's like you just read the shit you'd normally be reading anyways.
And I don't even know if it's too much reading. It's just there's nothing linear going on with Infinity.
Yeah.
And not that I need linear storytelling, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm confused.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't be confused. And I think that's where the series has failed.
It's, yeah, I gave up. I'm glad I did. I'm really glad that I did. I called that one right. I'm not always right.
No, you
Sometimes
you
I'm
totally
wrong.
did.
And, but this one...
I was wrong. I can admit failure.
It's not you.
I need forgiveness.
You know,
I'm sorry.
You're just trying to read a comic.
But
and...
hey, but on the other side of the coin, like I picked up East of West #7 this week. That fucking rules.
Yeah. Well, Dune was saying also that he's a little weary. He's a little on the fence about East of West, which I can see why he's saying that, because I feel like we need another bite of something, like solid. Like he has been kind of dragging out a little bit, where it's like it takes so long to get another issue.
Totally.
East of West might be one of those where you just need to wait until the trade paperback comes out. Maybe, I don't know.
I can see that.
You know, I can see how it'd be annoying to people.
I did that with the Thor, Jason Aaron stuff,
and
it turned into just an entire afternoon of just absolute delight. It really did.
So, you know, but I still like what's going on with East of West. I'm still interested to see what's going on, but I do feel like we do need a new big chunk of information. We haven't gotten that weird chunk yet that I've been kind of looking for.
And I think, you know, that's so funny that you mentioned that, because with Infinity, I'm still waiting for that big chunk of information to happen in the series. Mm-hmm. And it turns out it's happening in Avengers and New Avengers, or like where the really great plot points are happening. And his run on those was such crap the year prior. That's why I'm not reading them anymore.
Right. I know. It's you know, I've been kind of ditching a couple comics, like a couple titles.
We've been dropping.
I've been dropping. There's a couple things I've been dropping. I can't even remember what it was. I was in there the other day and I was like, I'm not gonna buy.
We were talking about this a couple weeks ago. I dropped X-Force.
Yeah,
that one hurt.
I dropped Fatale. I've dropped Lazarus. I've dropped what was the spiritual one with Straczynski? What's it called?
Oh,
something. No.
$5,000.
10 grand.
10 grand.
I dropped that.
You know what? I'm on the verge of dropping it, but I'm still picking up for Temple Smith's art, and that's pretty much the only reason why I'm buying it.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, I've been dropping a lot of stuff. I mean, even like Batman, I'm kind of like.
I'm still reading Year Zero.
I don't know. I just feel like after like Damien's death, it's just really. I haven't recovered.
Did you read? Speaking of Damien.
Oh, I haven't. I didn't read it, but I bought it, and I've been meaning to read it, but it looks so terrible.
It's horrible, but I still picked it up.
Okay, so you read it. It was terrible. Yeah. Okay, it looked terrible. Okay, so.
I mean, it's totally a throwaway story. Okay, it's Damien, son of Batman.
Yeah.
And it's a completely out of context, out of storyline plot, where it's Damien sees his dad Bruce die.
Yeah.
And now he goes on this rampage trying to find which of his rogues gallery is the one that killed him. And it's the first issue that came out. It's Adam Kubert.
But is this supposed to be something that take place before his death?
Exactly. It looks like it happens after his death.
Because, that's the thing that's so confusing is the art style makes him look like he's, like, 20.
Yeah.
Not like
and
he's 11.
And they even talk about in the series, like, when does this story happen? We don't know, dear reader. And you're like...
Come on.
Dicks. And so...
Come on.
I picked it up because it's Damien.
I did too.
But but the series is made to appease people like you and I.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I need a Damien story. Well, cool. We'll give him something.
I don't know. I would rather not have one at all if you're not... I don't know. Just leave it. Let him die. You already broke my heart. Don't play with my emotions.
They're going to bring Damien back.
God damn it.
They probably will. I don't know.
Well, let's talk about SandMan Overture. There's people asking about that. Can I just say that the Sandman flower at the very beginning blew my mind, and
it's glorious.
It's so glorious. It's like
so good.
A Sandman flower. I love it. I love the way that he's translated to different types of beings who dream of him. Like, he always looks like the beings that are dreaming of him.
And for everyone listening, SandMan Overture, issue #1.
Yeah.
It's the return of Neil Gaiman writing Sandman, and on top of that, it's J.H. Williams III doing the art, and it's beautiful.
And if you don't know, J.H. Williams III did Prometheus stuff. He did the Batwoman stuff. I mean, he's really... I think that he's kind of like this generation's, Dave McKean type, where it's like very illustrious. You know, it's not your normal comic book style.
He also did one of my favorite series, Desolation Jones with Garth.
I still need to read that.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, I know.
With Warren Ellis, Warren Ellis.
But I will say something about the SandMan Overture comic that pissed me off, and it's not the writing or the artwork. It is the ads, the shameless plugging of their own ads. It's like Vertigo. We fucking get it. We know that you're trying to sell more comics, but it's like you'll be like really starting to get into the story. Like every 2 or 3 pages, you'll open it to a double page spread of ads, not just one ad on one page. It's a double page spread of ads, which totally takes you out of the story that you're reading.
Right.
So it's like in order to show me the ads of stuff that they're trying to sell me.
Here's more Neil Gaiman and Alan Moore
It's like you're sacrificing the story itself for selling me crap. Not that it's crap, but I mean, it's like...
Yeah, why don't we just put the ads in the back or the front? Why do they have to be in the middle of the story, breaking the story?
I mean...
You're going to look at them. We're going to look at them. We'll
look at them.
But let us finish the story first.
Like, let us enjoy it.
But I'm pretty sure Neil Gaiman isn't writing a script for a comic...
hoping that it's an ad sale.
Yeah, planning the ad beats in between the story.
I mean, there's one that has, Neil Gaiman and Dave McKean, Black Orchid, with the Unwritten, which I don't even know what the Unwritten. Then there's another double-page spread of Hinterkind and Coffin Hill, which I hated Hinterkind.
Oh, by the way, I did read that. It sucked.
It sucked.
You're absolutely
Sorry,
right on that
it was terrible. I didn't read Coffin Hill, but I just couldn't do it. Then there's another one for Promethea and Sandman, the regular series.
But like you said, just put that at the end. We'll read them.
Like, put it. I mean, like, I'm not against. Yeah, but
or
just,
the beginning.
You don't have to trick me.
Yeah.
You don't have to trick me. Like, quit trying to be devious about it. Like, I see what you're doing.
We already want to know about other comics.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, it's like you don't need to be so fucking shameless.
Okay.
Like, have a little bit of self-restraint, Vertigo.
And
I know that you're trying to make a go of it. I get that. But you don't need to ruin the comic that's actually good, that's going to help you make a name for yourself by putting too many fucking of your own ads in it. It's a little shameless.
But I do want to say, SandMan Overture, guys, get into this. Get into the series so hard. The art is beautiful. The layouts are absolutely amazing. If you're a fan of the original series, I was telling people, like, I was rereading the original Sandman, and I got to the part where they introduced the Corinthian. The Corinthian is totally psychotic. And God bless Neil Gaiman. He opens up the first issue with the Corinthian.
Yeah.
And on top of that, please back me up on this, the way they did some of the story layouts with...
Oh, the teeth?
The teeth. In
so
each
smart.
panel is in one of the teeth. Oh,
yeah.
God.
No, and that's J.H. Williams, like, that's what he's
totally
so good at. And I love that the Fate, thing where they go to Fate and he's got his big cosmic Fate book and then he's opening it and then the pages themselves turn into panels. And
Yes.
And then the next page is like...
And Death
just
is
fully,
in it, and she's totally just so fucking Death, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
And on top of that, some of the concepts that they introduce in just the first issue... Holy crap, guys. Go buy it. Buy it.
Yeah, it was definitely worth it. Like, the ads were annoying, but that was the only thing that sucked about it.
Yeah, you are paying $5 for this first
I know,
issue,
and I was paying $5 for fucking ads. It's like oversized issue. It's like oversized with ads. Not with comics. Like, there might be a few extra pages, but it didn't seem like that much
there were some ads.
Longer than whatever, but...
Oh, so good.
Whatever. Yeah, it was really good. So, yeah. Let's see here.
What else we got?
Let's see here. What else? Not out yet, but are you excited for Black Science? Ask Logan Hendrich. And yes, I am super excited about Black Science. Black Science, which is Rick Remender and Matteo Scalera, I believe.
I don't know anything about this. Please educate me.
Let's Google it. Let's Google Black Science
really
for you
quickly.
because it's coming out this month in November. I don't know exactly when. Maybe next week. Maybe the week after that. I don't know. But yes, this is one of the ones that I'm really excited about, and I hope that it doesn't suck balls. So, yeah. It's going to be an Image comic. The cover looks really weird. It has, like, fish ladies, sexy fish ladies, which I'm always excited about.
And this is Rick Remender, by the way.
Rick Remender of Uncanny X-Force fame.
Good. Glorious.
Good stuff.
Very excited for this.
Yeah, the art is Matteo Scalera and Dean White. I really like Matteo Scalera's stuff a lot. I have like one of his. I bought a print from him at a show. He was doing that Viking thing that Cooper's really into.
Oh fuck! That thing was awesome.
Yeah. The Valen, the Outcast.
Yes.
Yes.
That was it.
Yeah, he did the art for that, and then Dean White is coloring it. Who did the coloring for Uncanny X-Force? Who was just like
nice.
The top of his fucking
this is
game.
just exciting because I want to see what Rick Remender does outside of X-Men.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited about Black Science. I think it's gonna be really weird. It's right up my alley.
Oh, and it's Scalera. They did Secret Adventures together.
Yeah, he did Secret Adventures too.
Oh my God, okay.
Yes.
Please talk about this. I'm very excited.
Yeah, so I don't even know exactly what it's supposed to be about. I just know that I'm excited. It's like Dean White says that calling it a spiritual sequel to Fear Agent, which I have not read, and I know I need to.
Okay.
It's a thing. I know I'm working on it, but spiritual anything, I'm excited. So you got me. Like, I'm excited about it. Let's see here. I wish I could find a little blurb for it. Like, what is the blurb? Oh yeah, here we go. Former member of the anarchistic order of scientists, Grant McKay has finally done the impossible. He has deciphered black science and punched through the barriers of reality. And what lay beyond the veil was not epiphany, but chaos. Now Grant and his team are lost, living ghosts shipwrecked on an infinite ocean of alien worlds, barreling through the dark realms, long forgotten, ancient, and unimaginable. The only way is forward, and the only question is how far are they willing to go to get home again.
Sold.
I'm there.
Sold.
And then the sexy fish lady's on the cover.
Oh, there are some sexy fish ladies. Look at
Yeah,
that.
the sexy fish lady butt.
It totally appeals to...
Well, it's got like a Frazetta like vibe to it,
Yep.
Like I'm excited. Totally. And again, it's like Dean White coloring.
And again,
it, so
look at those
like,
colors. Yeah.
I mean, that dude's like ridiculous.
Oh, that's fucking happening.
Yeah, so you could say that I'm really excited about it.
Nice.
It's gonna be awesome, and it's interesting to see Dean White color someone like Matteo Scalera, because Scalera is so good at doing like not cross hatching, but just like the way he inks stuff. Everything is like he doesn't need very painterly colors going on, but it's interesting to see how he's changing his style to go with Dean White, and how he's like pulling back on the crazy ink work that he does, so he gives Dean White space to do his painterly thing, which I'm after the Thor God Butcher with Eyes Forcina coloring it.
Oh Jesus!
This looks like the kind of
so
follow up to that, where it's like they're still doing more weird painterly
Well, like
stuff.
I said,
It's
like
almost more European.
Yeah.
I
mean, like going back to a lot of the heavy metal stuff, I feel like some of that stuff is coming back again.
Well,
the guy who was doing pencils on, I know I'm actually going to talk about a DC title, but the guy who was doing the pencils on Nightwing, like his stuff right now, they totally got a guy who looks like he could be doing Judge Dredd. It's that very European, like rough, like thick line, like hyper realistic art. And I'm excited to see that coming into like mainstream comics.
I think this is kind of more of an evolved comic book style, to where technology is good enough that you can just scan the pencils and work with the pencils.
Yeah.
And then digital coloring is much faster, especially with Cintiq's Wacom tablets. You can draw right on the screen and color it.
Yeah.
To where you can make art look like this. I think it would have taken too long to make it fruitful.
Right.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I love the pencils. I love the pencils now that they can scan that.
Well, it's like, when I was in art school and, I went through the sequential art program for comic books and stuff. And, I had a really hard time personally. Like, I suck at inking my own work. My pencils have so much more life and excitement to them than my inks do. Like, I ink something I drew and it looks like shit. Like, it's just terrible. And it's exciting for me as an artist who isn't a natural-born inker, to where you can just get away with pencils now, because it's like I can make my, keep my pencils and then just really do some crazy coloring over the top of them.
Right.
Whereas before, it's like, they didn't even scan stuff. They took pictures, like physical pictures of things in slides, and like it's superimposed. It was like a whole fucking process. I can't even imagine, like.
Well, yeah, the entire known comic book style of inking your work in that certain way was done because of the limitations of print medium before.
Yeah. And it's a whole new world, and
those limitations don't exist anymore, so comic book styles can be whatever they want to be. Yeah. As long as it gets done in time.
Although, I do kind of miss some of the limitations. Like, I do enjoy I miss the newsprint look, like how many, like the flats.
I wish someone would put out a comic that looks like the Jim Lee 1992 X-Men.
Oh, I do too.
Everyone wants the Jim Lee 1992 X-Men.
Well, I'm talking about the coloring style of it. Primarily.
Yeah, it's just keep
simple. Simple 3-strip process.
Yeah, it's very.
That works for Jim Lee's style and people that still draw in Jim Lee's style.
Yeah, it works great.
And Jim Lee. I mean, it's like
it really works for Jim Lee.
He's drawing Superman Unchained right now, and it does not none of his stuff looks as good unless it's colored the way, because he inks stuff with those lines that are supposed to imply shadows himself.
The inks already tell you where the light and the shadow are, so you don't need to denote it with color. You just have to put flats over it.
It's computer coloring is over-coloring Jim Lee's work.
Yeah, well, that's the problem with artists. Is
That's
like we do like to overwork stuff, you know, and it is hard to tell yourself like no, especially when you have any option.
We'll bring up the freaking offense that someone went back and republished his 1992 X-Men series and re-computer colored it all to resell it. And it looks so much worse.
No, I was like, I saw that they republished all the Jim Lee, you know, X-Men stuff, Uncanny X-Men stuff. I was really excited. I was going to buy it. I picked it up. It's like nice hardcover. I opened it up, and all of the colors were recolored with shitty computer coloring with gradients all over the fucking place. It wasn't as strong. It's like, that's not the same art, you motherfuckers. Like, I'm buying this for the art, and you have changed the art. It's insulting to the person who fucking colored this, first of all.
Yeah, the original colorist.
You know, the original colorist who like has no credit to begin with anyways. It's like way to just, you know, piss all over their grave. And then on top of that, it just doesn't look the same. It's like, it's not this is not the same. Like, why are you discarding the old coloring like it's not good and that it's ugh.
Like it's inferior.
Like, ugh.
Right.
Ugh. Like, ugh. With a side of ugh. I was so upset about it.
That's such a shame.
I didn't buy it because I was like, this sucks. Like, this isn't what I wanted, because that's not the original art. That's not how it was.
Right.
Like, why are you trying to sell me some bullshit right now? I don't know.
Oh, well.
I know. Super bummer.
Oh, what else we got?
Okay, what were you saying, Kirk, about the Batman suit?
Oh, so Kevin Smith saw Ben Affleck in the Batsuit.
The new Batsuit?
Well, I mean, or this could have been like whatever like little games they like to play. But yeah, apparently this is the new Batsuit.
Because he knows Ben Affleck, and so he probably got to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. So what do you say? What do you have to say about it?
He says that the fans have not seen anything like this in film yet. It's not like the Matrixy black spandex suits. And when he saw Ben Affleck in the suit, he immediately ran over and gave him a big bear hug.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, being that, and full disclosure, I am a Kevin Smith fan. I like Kevin Smith. I like him. I like Kevin Smith and his opinion of Batman. Mm-hmm. Especially if you listen to his Fat Man on Batman podcast. They're pretty good. His conversation with Grant Morrison was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I listened to that.
It was actually really great. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, of course he's going to say his friend looks awesome in the bat suit, because when your best friend gets cast to be Batman, you're like, everything rules.
Right.
But I do have, with a grain of salt, I do have some faith in this.
Yeah.
I do have some faith in Kevin Smith going, this is cool. This is really cool.
Yeah. Well,
I have nothing else to say about that.
Okay, just decided to throw that one out there.
So what's the next question?
okay, so I was looking at your tab, Tyson, about the Iron Man suit they're trying to build for the military. What is this?
Okay, so I don't know a lot about this, but I did just read an article. It's in the news a lot. It's all over the internet that the military is trying to build what they're calling an Iron Man suit for elite soldiers. And what they're doing is interesting. They're trying to build hype a lot. Why are you laughing over there, Craig?
I think this is great. Just keep going.
they don't. I think they don't really have the money to do these things like they normally would, so they're trying to outsource it to whatever company is interested in building it for them. But they're calling it the Iron Man suit, because it's supposed to build hype among citizens to want it to happen.
Well,
which I think is an interesting way about going about things.
If they're trying to get guys interested in joining the military with the lure of getting to wear a crazy exoskeleton awesome suit, that's a very effective tool in my opinion.
Right, and a lot of people are criticizing it because they're like, doing it like this.
Right.
But why not?
Well, I just feel
they're saying they were inspired by Iron Man suit, and they have this video that's pretty interesting. It's someone animated, and it shows this a person in a theoretical power suit.
Right.
And they burst through a door, and they get shot with tons of bullets, and they're just standing there, and they...
Right.
I don't know. Getting
shot.
Well,
this isn't the first time that the military, though, has been inspired by a movie or fiction. There's a story about Predator where some secretary general whatever somewhere saw Predator and was like, I want that camouflage shit that the Predator has.
Yeah.
We got to make that happen. And they worked on it, and they actually developed something that was it wasn't like the Predator's thing exactly, but it was pretty crazy camouflage. I was like, holy crap, that does change when you... It's like a chameleon's shit.
Yeah, I think for some kind of suit. They're calling this the Talos, which is Tactical Assault Light Operator Suit. Eventually, we will have stuff like this in the future.
Right.
I guess they're trying to make it happen right now, and they want it done in the next 12 months.
Well,
I mean,
12 months.
Like you're saying, do they have? Where's the money for this is going to come from? Like, are they going to do a Kickstarter?
Yeah.
Why not?
Like, hey, if you donate the first
They're already calling it the Iron Man
to
suit.
the first 3
Hit on pop
people that
culture
donate
stuff.
$250 million, you get a suit. Like, and a pizza party.
Yeah, and a pizza party. Yes.
That's
I'm in.
hilarious.
I'm in.
Let's do it.
Well,
Let's do it.
So back to Drew. You know, I'm glad you love your tank. I hope that you do get your Iron Man suit eventually. That would be cool.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, in practicality-wise, like, there are a lot of critics against it, but, you know, it would make sense because the modern soldier has to go up against things they don't even know who the enemy is. A lot of the time.
I don't even quite
burst into rooms that might be full of just a happy family. Or
I admit
people
that I
she
don't
knows.
know anything about modern day warfare necessarily. I have no fucking clue about it. But I
But
feel like
a lot of our viewers do.
drones are like, that's where everything's going. Like, it's gonna be Terminator Skynet shit, man. Like, that's where, like,
That's what you're guessing.
Oh, no.
No,
Did
that's
you
where
actually
it's
hear
going.
about this?
What?
It's so funny you mentioned Skynet. There was a government malware virus that was created by our government in order to infiltrate, like, certain systems. Mm-hmm. Right now, if I remember, once an article I read 2 days ago type thing. But this virus has now taken over, I think, like, a Ukrainian satellite.
What?
And it also has the ability to take over the operating system of certain, like certain systems.
I don't know,
Which
man.
is almost Skynet.
Again.
Yeah.
This is why I love Dune, because Dune is set so far in the future that we've already learned that Skynet happens and it sucks and we banish it forever and there's no
Yes.
technology in the super future. We're just like, no, that shit's a bad idea, making like machines
That
think
is
like
another,
a man.
going back to Dune, a very interesting idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're against computers now.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
But anyway, about
humans become computers.
The thing I wanted to say about a power suit that I think would be interesting is I think we're getting to the point where technology is now small enough and powerful enough that something like this could be done now.
Oh, absolutely.
Where it probably wasn't possible in the future. I mean, I just got a freaking new phone here, and this is the first phone that I've ever been impressed with that it actually can do
Yeah.
stuff. Like, I'm actually using the internet
It's
on my
his
phone.
first real smartphone.
Yeah, I had a Sidekick before
Oh,
that.
it was
if
the-
anyone remembers the
Wow,
Sidekicks.
I do remember Sidekicks.
Even the guy at the store was like, "Is that a Sidekick?" And I was like,
I don't know how you did
Yes.
it.
He's like, well,
don't know
I
how
gotta
you
put
did
this
it.
in the glass case so that everyone else can see it.
Put that in a museum.
I was like, I had to use it for like a couple days because I lost my phone, and I
she used
had
my
to
phone.
use your phone, and I was like, I couldn't understand how you had done it for this long. I was like, if I were you, I would have like lost it on purpose, like even subconsciously, like where it's like I would have just lost it because it sucks so bad.
It would lag. It would go black screen. It would have every
Okay,
possible
listen.
error.
Okay, this is the problem with your fucking phone. Okay. If you touch any button on that fucking thing, it always stops whatever you're doing. So if you're on the internet, you're looking for something, or you're on a call, or whatever, if you touch any, and the thing is surrounded by buttons. There's like 20 buttons all over this fucking thing. So anytime you touch it, there is a button there, and it will end your call every time.
Well, that's why I bought the phone, because it was loaded with buttons, and I like actual buttons.
Well,
I was
you
like,
got
I don't want a touch screen.
more buttons than you needed.
I like the feel of buttons. But I've moved to the touch screen now.
You know what won't have that problem in the future?
What?
A mech suit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, actually being just a mentat where you just with your brain.
I just want a mech suit.
You don't have to have a phone anymore.
All right.
I mean, you're telling me that they wouldn't be able to use Google Glass technology for a heads-up display?
No,
and, and an armor helmet?
Yeah, they part of the specs said that they want all that stuff in there. They want it all.
Jeez.
Yeah.
They want it bulletproof head to tail.
Do
Right.
it.
So, cool. I'm sure it can happen, and it probably will happen. I don't know if it'll be in 12 months or in 12 years.
I just want to see that technology, though. Like, I want to see that technology, but just used for, like, gladiator type shit, where it's like, that's like the next MMA, where you have, like, cool mech suits and they fight.
Yeah.
Well,
I feel like I said, we don't know about modern warfare, but I feel like modern warfare a lot is on the ground, not so much like flying a raptor around and, blowing stuff up, as much as it is needing to be an individual soldier on the ground going into dangerous situations.
I don't even know if it's that or if it's, like, more political now. It's like, I don't even know how much...
Yeah,
I have no idea, though. I really don't. I'm very ignorant of it. Like, I admit it.
I'm sure a lot of our viewers will have a lot to say about it. We should probably stop talking about it.
I know, right? I'm going to get myself in trouble.
Good point.
Yeah, let's not get in trouble. And moving on. Next question.
So next question.
I have a question for you.
Kirk, what is it?
Did you meet anybody famous recently this week?
I might have.
Aww.
Okay, let's...
We were hearing a story earlier. We decided to save it for the
I
podcast.
tweeted about it, too, and I didn't expound upon the situation.
What happened?
I tweeted that I had blown it with LeVar Burton.
Blown it?
At the bar.
What did you do?
Geordie LaForge. I blew it.
From Star Trek.
Next Gen.
The Next Generation.
Yeah, Star Trek Next Gen. Okay, so here's the scoop. My best friend Josh was in town. We went over across the street to the bar to have some lunch and some drinks. We ended up staying there for about 6 hours.
That's how we do it.
I had 3 wild turkeys that day. I'm not a whiskey drinker. I had 2 beers. But we've been eating, and it's like a drink an hour. So, I mean, we were really good, but I was still drunk. But we were on foot. It was fine. There's no driving involved.
Anyway, so you spotted...
So he spots LeVar Burton. He's like, I think that's LeVar Burton. And I was like, fuck, is it? I didn't have my glasses on, so I couldn't tell. And it was indeed LeVar Burton. And he came up, we were sitting at the bar. He's on the other side of the bar. He came up to sign his receipt right in front of us. Right in front of my friggin' face.
Yeah, 2 feet away.
And I was drunk, and I had to say something.
What'd you say?
And... I
fucking love your work on Reading Rainbow, dude.
I said it all wrong is what I did. Okay, so So I said, I know this is terrible, meaning I know that this is terrible to annoy you and bug you because I don't want to bug you and I hate to be that person because I'm sure you get bugged all the time. That's what I meant. But what it sounded like was, I know it's horrible to say this, but me and my friend really love Star Trek Next Generation.
Oh, no.
And it sounded like I was saying it was horrible because it's Star Trek Next Generation.
You told LeVar Burton that Star Trek is terrible, basically.
God, and I didn't mean it like that. It was such a...
What did he say? What was his response?
He said, well, I love Star Trek Next Generation too. That's okay.
No. Didn't you say that he said, I don't know why it's terrible?
I don't think he said that. I don't know.
But did he really say, but it's okay, I love Star Trek The Next Generation
also?
But
he said, I love Star Trek Next
Good
Generation
for him.
too.
Good for him.
And I was like, no, I was like, fuck Star Wars. But I just I know that he lives somewhere in my area, and I feel like if I ever bump into him again, which I think could happen, because T-Bone, you saw him at the hardware store one day, and Kirk, you said that he's always at the Blue Dog Tavern,
right?
So it's it's gonna happen again. But if I see him
always
again,
spotting celebrities that you don't see.
I know.
Well,
I don't have my glasses on all the time, so I can't see anybody far away.
That's funny because I guess he didn't have his glasses on either. Because of the visor, guys. Bear with me on this one.
It was so bad. If I ever see him again, I'm going to go up to him and I'm going to make it even worse. I'll probably make it worse. And I'm going to say, LeVar Burton, I know you probably don't even remember me. And you shouldn't. I was just some dickhead at a bar. There's no reason you should remember me.
Well, maybe one of our viewers is listening and they'll send him this message and he can listen to the podcast.
I'm sure.
And that will be your apology.
Oh, God.
That's possible.
Well,
The internet's a small
how about
world.
that? If you're listening, LeVar Burton, let me have a do-over. Here it is. Here's my do-over. LeVar Burton.
Yes. Hi.
I just want to let you know that I love Star Trek The Next Gen. It's an amazing show, and I feel like this show is the only happy memory I have of my family being together. That's the only memory I have of my family being happy
really
together.
Nice.
Is us watching Star Trek Next Gen.
Great.
And it's really important to me, and thank you so much. And I'm sorry to bother you.
Oh, you're a little doll. Here, come here, give me a hug. Come here.
Oh. Guys,
can I sign something for you? A photograph?
That was awesome.
Oh, no, I don't want to bother you. I just wanted to let you know.
Well, you have a good day.
You too.
Here's a full copy of Star Trek Next Generation on Blu-ray.
Oh my gosh! Oh, we have a DVD. I want it on Blu-ray so bad. It's so expensive, though. I don't have money.
He just has that in his pocket. He pulls
I
it out.
know. I would take it in a heartbeat.
That was awesome, though.
Do you have any celebrity encounters? We've all lived in Hollywood for a while now.
Kirk, what's your celebrity encounter?
Recently at Kamikaze, I had one.
Who's that?
And I had two, actually.
You do have a good one. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, the first one was Weird Al Yankovic. Now, no, laugh all you want, but talking about happy memories when you were a kid growing up, like my parents going through a divorce, for whatever reason, Eat It, Fat, all the Michael Jackson parody stuff that he did was one of the few things that kept me laughing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've always grown up, and Weird Al is just awesome to me. I think Weird Al Yankovic is rad.
Yeah.
I like the stuff that he does with Tim and Eric. Awesome show, great job. And he did something kind of cool at Kamikaze. He set up his own booth. He wasn't doing the whole, I'm signing at this time between these hours thing.
Which running a fucking booth is hardcore.
It's hardcore fucking work.
It's not
And he wasn't the type of guy who was sitting there with like a keeper or a handler, trying to coordinate him.
Yeah.
It was him in his booth. And we got there early on Sunday, so it wasn't that busy yet, but he didn't have a line. He didn't have anyone over at the booth.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck it, dude. Because for me, this is a check off the bucket list.
Yeah, this is it.
And I went up there, I went, hey man, I just want to let you know, I'm in my 30s and I don't even care, dude. Your music kept me going to when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I just really need to tell you, I appreciate that. He goes, well, that's great because when my parents passed away, the only thing that kept me going was my fans.
Aww.
And it was just like this.
Wow.
When sweethearts collide.
Yeah, that was the other one. And then the other person was Elvira. And now
Oh my gosh, I'm so jelly. I did not.
Okay, so.
Her line was a mile long when I was there.
Oh, crap, I've forgotten her name.
Cassandra Peterson.
That's it. She did one appearance as Elvira.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, super nerd kid moment because I watched all the creature features that she hosted.
Yeah, huge influence on me for sure.
And then she did a quick little because they had this little pop-up stand where it was artist renditions doing portraits of her.
Yeah.
And so she did this quick little meet and greet with a lot of the artists that had painted a lot of the portraits. And she was getting her photo done with them and that sort of thing. Here's the beauty of it. She was not in an Elvira costume.
Yeah.
Cassandra Peterson, ladies and gentlemen,
Oh my God.
is officially the oldest woman I want to sleep with.
She is so beautiful.
She is gorgeous.
She is so
She is stunning.
pretty.
And she was sweet.
Gorgeous
and she
figure.
was humble. And she made it a point to say hello to every person who came up to her and talk.
And she's a mom.
And
And
she's
she's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
I mean, stunning and classy and just, yeah. I'm not
Elvira, huh?
embarrassed.
No, I whatever she's
I'm
doing,
not
I need to
embarrassed,
get on
man.
that train.
She was gorgeous.
Okay.
Cassandra Peterson, more power to you.
Yeah, a friend of mine said that, they knew her at one point and that she was super into like organic and all that sort of stuff and like had really healthy diet. So it's like, I mean,
Well, shit.
if that's, I mean, I need to start eating more vegetables, I guess.
Or switch over to organic beer as we're
I
chugging
know, I need
down.
to get my organic beer.
Since we're on Celebrity Encounter, should I tell my Avril Lavigne
Oh
Celebrity
my
Encounter
God,
story?
yeah. T-Bone has a good one.
All right. So, yeah, Avril
the
Lavigne
scene.
freaked me out. That's basically
And that's the story,
consensus of
the
story.
end.
No, I don't listen to her music or anything. I don't know what song she has, but I think she's hot.
You're not familiar with Skater Boy?
Yes, I'm familiar with the song. Because you don't have a
refuse to
choice.
believe-
It's on the radio.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice to know.
You can't
about
get away
these
from
songs,
that, yeah.
Right. It's like not knowing about Matchbox 20 or something. They bombard you with it constantly. Anyway, whatever. So we go to what restaurant was that?
Casa Vega.
Casa Vega restaurant.
Our used to be favorite restaurant, which now sucks all of a sudden. New management. I don't know what's happening.
You had one bad experience.
No, two.
Anyway, so we sit down at a restaurant at Casa Vega, and 2 tables away, Avril Lavigne comes in with like one other person, one girl, and sits down right in front of us. And I'm like, what, is that Avril Lavigne? And then like I look up at her, and I'm like, oh wow. And then I look at her again, and she's staring right at me with her menu right in front of her face, just like blazing at me.
Just her eyes peeking out.
Yeah, just
over
her
the
eyes
top.
peeking out with her menu.
Oh, how
like
creepy.
already looking at me, and I'm like,
Right in the
to where
eyes.
I look
Like-
away, like I have to break contact.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because she doesn't
creepy.
stop looking at me, and I'm like, oh, what was that about? Did that really happen? Oh, well, okay. Well, I'll look back and see if she's still looking at me. And so I look back, and she's looking at me again, and then she flips her hood up over her head, and then scoots off into the corner to where she can try to hide.
Like you were being
She's
the dick.
only like 20 feet, 15 feet away from me.
Like you were being the dick though.
Yeah,
like
but-
like
right.
you were gonna come over and like bug her or something.
I'm guessing at this point, what she was doing is like, I think that maybe she hadn't been out in public in a long time or something. This is my estimation of what the story was.
Yeah.
And she's like looking around like, somebody noticed me. Who's gonna notice me? Someone's gonna notice me.
That guy noticed me.
He knows who I am, right? And then she realizes that I do.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, don't look at me now. And she
Yeah.
says, so look at me, don't look at me.
Look at me, don't look
Or
at me.
here's some wild speculation. Maybe she thought you were hot.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I've run that
Yeah.
fantasy through my head, and there's a 50-50 chance. Now, that was the day before the news. I know that because the day after that was announced that she was getting married to somebody in
Chad
another band.
Kroeger
Chad
from
Kroeger. Right. Who wasn't there that
from-
night. So
Oh, God, I want to say Nickelback.
Yes, Nickelback.
Oh, why do I know that?
maybe
Yeah.
Shoot.
maybe she
Yeah.
did think I was hot, and she was hoping that right before she gets married, one last fling with
Maybe.
a stranger
Maybe.
who would come over.
But then I came out of the bathroom and sat down, and then you were like, Avril Lavigne's over there. I'm like, what? Where? What? And
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a room? Okay, here's another funny one. Have you ever been in a room where a celebrity made it a point to point out the fact that they are a celebrity to get attention?
no,
And no one-
I haven't been at a bar with Shia LaBeouf yet.
Okay. I was there at the night on Ventura Boulevard when he had the freak out and got dragged out by
No,
guys.
wait. Was
What?
that at the
Yeah.
Mad Bull?
Yes, it was.
Because my friend Elvis was also at the Mad Bull that same night.
Oh, I was there
I have
that
two
night.
friends there who have given me stories of Shia LaBeouf.
Like, I mean, and fully the guy walking around like, "Don't look at me, I'm Shia LaBeouf. Don't look at me." don't look at me just because I'm Shia LaBeouf. It was just
he's saying
awkward. Dude, it was I might be exaggerating a little bit, but it was along those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, having everyone in the public know who you are would. No one really knows what that's like unless you experiencing it.
No, it makes you weird, man.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know. I've had some.
I'm already
weird
socially
experiences.
stupid as it is.
Like when we were at Comic-Con and we had all those fans coming up for a minute, I had to walk away for a minute because I was just like, I need a break from this.
It's definitely it's a lot to talk to people because they have all these expectations on you and you don't want to let them down and and you want to be really polite to them, but then some people you get are weird and you don't know how to take them,
sometimes when you
and some
talk
people
to
are
100 people,
and
you get to that 100th person and you're like, I can't be nice for a second.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Well, I felt.
I would like to reiterate for everyone listening, that's for them. I've been recognized twice. And once was the first time we did the Death of Spider-Man video.
Yes.
The second that went live, I got recognized at a bar.
Yes.
We spend times in bars. I don't care. I got recognized once, and the girl was very sweet, but she also wouldn't say anything and wouldn't leave my side for the entire night.
That's nice.
And that was a little awkward. And then the other time was at Kamikaze when someone was just like, dude, Captain Kirk!
That's awesome.
From 4 booths away.
That's awesome.
That's great.
And the funny part is I was looking around looking for William Shatner. Meanwhile, I'm like, no, actually, he means me, guys.
It was me. It was me. That's me. I'm Captain Kirk.
That was it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think we've effectively covered this subject.
I think so.
Episode 12
is in the wraps.
Effectively done. High fives.
High fives.
Woo! They're high-fiving me.
All right.
And themselves. Okay.
So next week will be Plopcast number 13, and we have a very interesting topic.
The occult in comics. We're talking with Cavalorn, who has some awesome articles about Prometheus and Space Jesus.
And if you've listened to this full hour and a half, 2 hours, however long this podcast is by now.
Good for you.
Maybe there's 12 of you left. Well, guess what? I'm going to go ahead and tell you the secret. The 13th podcast is hidden somewhere on our site. We're not putting it out there publicly. You have to find it.
Dun, dun, dun.
I know.
Blah, 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 blah. So 13th podcast will be hidden on our site, right?
Yeah.
But we're going to want to watch it. Why?
Because it's all about esoteric subjects. It's all about the occult in comics and Alan Moore, Promethea.
Alan Moore and thelemic ideas.
Yeah.
And we don't want to open this up to drive-by trolls.
No.
We only want you guys that are really into this stuff to find it.
Yeah. So be on the lookout. Keep your eyes peeled.
Okay. That's it.
All right.
Over and out.
Sweet, guys. Thanks.